Guest, but it's the only person below White Holiday in the ComicsGate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube WyzGyz. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by our very special guest, John Hervey. How's it going, man?
Doing well, Wyman. How about yourself, man?
Fantastic. Welcome, Adenui. How's it going? Countdowns make every stream intense.
Seriously.
Yeah.
How's it going, Madanui?
Hello, Beyond Time. Hey, peeps. Good to have you. Oh, yeah, that's you.
That's me.
What the heck? What the heck?
Phoenix.
Animation. Damn, John, you're all over the place promoting your book. I need to get on your level.
I've just been fortunate. Great people like Wyman are letting me hop on, and I appreciate it.
Welcome, El Gargoyle. Eggplant to you, too.
I'm sure the eggplant has amazing significance.
Yes, indeed. Good to have you on. This is like your second visit, right?
That's right. The first visit was while Black Tiger was still in demand.
Did that? I forgot to check. Did that ultimately close down, or did you?
I need to. You know what? You'll go there. It says in demand, but there's no perks because I sold out of all the books. So I really just need to just close up that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We sold out of all the books.
Wow.
Well, you know, it's one of those things too where I didn't know how much in terms of kind of overage to get for the books, and I didn't want to get stuck with a whole bunch of books. So I don't know, probably got around 50, 60 or so extra books. And they moved, and you know, kind of talking about Phil Diaz afterwards. I think he likes to do double what the campaign ends at. So if that had been the case, I would have ordered more books. Yeah, man, this is all learning. You know, this is all learning.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, it's interesting seeing a campaign where it's is showing as in demand, but there's literally no tiers. You can't back me, ha!
I know. It's like, ha!
I don't want your support. I'm gonna fund myself.
Exactly. They're like, what is this idiot doing? I can't find any tiers. That's the point.
Yeah, that's freaking
no pudding for you.
Yeah, seriously. And then, was this the movie?
That was the short. So I don't think I don't think that link is there. But just like you did before, though, people can go to Beyond Time Inc. and they can watch the 20-minute short if they like.
Yeah, that was
Robin Shue and Angela Fong.
That was a fun short. I liked it.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, man.
Man, I sure as hell hoped I remember to back your book. I think I did ultimately.
Okay.
I think I got the hardcover.
Okay, so the hardcovers are in. The only thing we're waiting for, if you got a slipcase, your book hasn't been shipped yet. But if you just got the hardcover without the slipcase, it's already been shipped.
Not certain which one I backed, but I'm pretty sure I backed it. El Gargoyle says, just attention, just needy.
Well, it worked, man.
Phoenix Animation says, I backed Magna today with a Vera cover.
Yeah.
I really love the way that looks.
No, I appreciate that big time. And I kind of thought that with regards, hey, Frog G, I thought that kind of the covers, it would be kind of an equal split between the covers, because all the covers I think are pretty awesome. But more people have been going for the first, and we'll see kind of how all that works itself out. But I love that cover as well, Phoenix, because that's the Behold Pantheon.
Since it's been a little bit since you were last on the channel, how about if you don't mind taking a moment to kind of discuss your background, your early years, how you what key parts in your life led to you ultimately creating and releasing your own crowdfunded books and movie shorts.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate the opportunity. I mean, for me, comic books are really my first love in terms of media. So when I first started reading comics, it was before there really was a direct market. So books would go, I would get comic books with my mom at the local drugstore. So they had one spinner rack, and then they eventually got a second spinner rack, which is a big deal. It's a lot of books.
Yeah.
Especially if I was only going to get one or two books every time we went. So I'm like, yeah, I got to make my choices wisely. At the time, Super Friends was a big cartoon, so it was easy to get Batman or Wonder Woman or Superman. That was a no-brainer.
Oh yeah.
It took me a while to make the connection between the Justice League and Super Friends. I'm like, hey, those are some of the same guys.
Yeah.
No. And they were showing a lot of the reruns of the 60s Spider-Man cartoons. So I was very familiar with Spider-Man. And Marvel had these old kind of animatic cartoons from the 60s that they would show. They had Captain America, they had Hulk, they had Namor, and they had Thor. And there was Fantastic Four cartoons. So like all of those kind of books, I was, I'd see those characters and I'd pick up those books. And I enjoyed them. But one day I went to the spinner rack, and there was Avengers 184. And the cover just captivated me. It was this giant Crusher Creel. He was holding Miss Marvel in his hand like he was King Kong, and Iron Man was attacking him, and the Vision. I didn't know who the Vision was. And I had seen the Beast before because I had some friends that collected X-Men, but I didn't really know who he was. So all these different characters, the Wasp, I had no idea who she was, but it looked cool. I knew Iron Man, and Crusher Creel looked cool, and I didn't realize this was the first appearance of Miss Marvel as an Avenger. So I picked up the book. It was a book drawn by John Byrne, who I didn't realize, is absolutely amazing, and I fell in love with the book. Read it over and over, and then I told my Mom, I am now a comic book collector. And she was like, baby, that's good. Finish your greens. I'm like, I made like a lifetime profession to her. And she was like, that's good. Just finish your dinner. And you got to understand, this is a different day than it is today. It was not cool to be a comic book collector back in the day. It's like, it's cool now. It wasn't cool, So, it's like you kind of, your friends, you're like, oh man, you collect comic books too? Okay, cool. Yeah. You kind of, have your buddies, and, I had a buddy that was collecting Daredevil. So that was like it for me in terms of just being a comic book collector. I loved the stories, wanted to work in that arena. Wasn't either disciplined enough or skilled enough to really be an artist. Spend a lot of time drawing, and it was, I won't say it was a completely fruitless effort, but it definitely wasn't a calling of mine. When I was in school over at USC, a buddy of mine, he was working at Motown. Motown had an animation division. This is in the Mid-Wilshire district of Los Angeles.
I think I saw part of like a, didn't they have like available on YouTube, or maybe it was on television? I thought I saw clips of like a documentary where they got together. Oh, you know what? There was a DC, that DC event, right?
Yeah. So some of the Milestone guys got together. Well, the guy that ran Motown Animation, he was one of the Milestone guys.
Okay, all right.
Michael Davis.
Gotcha.
So, and he's actually one of the guys that created Static, which as a cartoon became Static Shock as a cartoon.
Gotcha.
So he was running a division, a comic book division, and he had a studio of artists called Bad Boy Studios, and these guys, they all came out from New York. So they all came out from New York, and they were staying in the Mid-Wilshire area because he had struck this deal with Motown. But then my buddy, who I knew from high school, he had gotten basically work with them, kind of office managing, kind of taking care of all those kind of logistical things for them. And he's like, hey, I think I can get you on board over here. So he got me on board. And I was just a gopher. I mean, just you name it. I was just doing whatever the CEO wanted me to do. And I was like, oh man, I've got all these great ideas. And he's like, listen, John, I've got people that write. I've got people that draw. So you're just going to be a gopher. You're not going to get to do any of this stuff. But nonetheless, I'm doing my job and I'm always pitching him ideas. And he's just like, you need to stop. But well, you fast forward. So you fast forward almost 2 years later, and one of the books, Trouble Man, which a buddy of mine, Chuck Drost, had created, and he was an amazing penciler and worked in animation for a while. And I would always go over to his apartment, and we would kind of riff off of ideas. And I would, just being a writer, I would write stories. I would write stories for his comic. Basically, my boss already had solicitations in Diamond for Trouble Man to come out, but the writer ghosted. So my boss, it was a Thursday, he said to me, and Chuck really lobbied. He's like, man, we need to get a writer, and we already paid some money towards this guy. This guy's ghosted. We need to get this. The solicitation is already in there. We need to get this production moving. So Chuck really lobbied for me, and he's like, really? You want to use John? He's like, yeah, let's use John. So it's like, fine.
It sounded like they were so reserved.
Yeah.
Unenthusiastic.
Well, they're like, really? Okay, you're gonna use the water. You want the water boy to come in and play now? Really? It's like, don't we have anybody else on the bench that can do this? But Chuck was really my advocate. Michael's like, okay, listen, here's the deal. It was a Thursday. He's like, you're going to come back on Tuesday with a full script for the first issue, and kind of help map out what the remainder of this arc is going to look like. Granted, there's some artwork that's already been created, so you need to work with what we have. So come back on Tuesday with that, and no pressure, but if this goes bad for you, you're never working in this industry, so but no pressure. So I'm like, oh man. But the thing that he didn't know, I didn't tell him until years later, was that I had already had so much stuff already written out for the story. Because I would go with, just for fun, I would go over to Chuck's, and if we were working late or if we'd be over at his apartment, I'd just be writing. So it was more of just kind of getting Chuck's buy-in on some things that I wanted to do with the story, polishing some things up, and I had 3 issues to him that Tuesday, and I acted like I didn't sleep. All that kind of stuff. So like years later when he found out, he's like, oh, you punk, But so that was the first time I was published. Motown Animation published through Image. So that 3-issue, there's supposed to be 4, but the 3 issues of Trouble Man were published through Image. This was in the mid-90s. So when Motown got into comics, this was on the tail end of the bubble. And they got in thinking that, hey, Jennifer. So they got in thinking that we're going to have $1 million books. We're going to make millions of dollars with comic books. And then the book sold, they made like 15,000, 20,000. I mean, you want to talk about the disparity between what they were projecting and what they got. Because the market totally collapsed at that point. And then they're like, yeah, we're not in it for this. So then Motown, proceeded to shut down. I had ideas that I wanted to write. I think at that time, anyone that was in comic wanted to write for the big two. So I put so many different pitches together and got to know some of the editors. But there's a lot of people that are trying to do the same. So none of that ever panned out. And I had an idea that as I further and further developed it, I realized it's not one I wanted to give away.
Right.
So I had the idea, I had the Black Tiger idea, and I got to know one editor really well, and I started pitching him on it. And then I was like, hey, can we pretend like that didn't happen? He's like, why? What's up? He's like, I think I want to self-publish this myself. He's like, look, that's fine. You know, so then my girlfriend at the time, now wife, we formed a company, you know, kind of did the things from a business perspective to, you know, set up an entity. And then we just literally just jumped in with 2 feet. I mean, I worked at, you know, Motown, and I'd seen all the different stages of production. So I was well aware of what needed to be done, but I'd never managed anything like this before. So got in, you know, I knew, you know, the scripting part I was fine with. You know, I had the opportunity to work under some really great people while I was over there, and even do a little bit of editing on some of the books. But then it was, okay, now I need to get a penciler. Now I need to get cover artists. So literally I was talking to folks that I knew, and a lot of these folks, you know, because where Motown Animation was downtown, the office for Top Cow was on the west side and was called it was in the Promenade area of the west side in LA. Extreme Studios was over in Anaheim. So I knew like Marat Michaels over at Extreme, and I knew some folks like JD Smith and some other folks over at Top Cow, and Michael Turner's studio was in LA as well at that time. So there was a plethora of people, but I couldn't pay them any of their page rates, you know? And on top of that, they were swamped with work. But so they started turning me towards other folks, and then I started going online. It's funny, I was talking with John Malin. There was this community called Digital Webbing back in the day. And that's how, basically through digital webbing is how I met Rod, who's the penciler for Black Tiger. And then just through some, you know, other connectivity for the book Magna, Marcio Abreu is actually part of Ed Bennis' studio. So I met the guy that manages Ed Bennis' studio. Because, you know, I was just kind of curious, hey, well, you know, what would it look like? What would a page rate for Ed Bennis look like? You know, and then just go, well, okay, well, what else? Who else you got there? You know, that's educational. Who else you got there? You know, and then you start finding out, you know, because it wasn't like, I mean, in this community right now, there's so many talented people, and everyone's kind of interconnected. But at the time, I was trying to find people. You know, I'm trying to find people that I can work with, and they're out there. But there just wasn't a centralized community like we have now. I mean, there's so many talented people. On a daily basis, I see people that I would love to work with. You know, the challenge is everybody's got their own book. You know, so it's like, you know, how do you, you know, but it's been a good process. So I was able to meet Marcio that way, and the colorist Omi. I met him online as well. He's actually in the Philippines, Omi Ramalante. And he's done a lot of great work, and been able to bolster his career, you know, and I'm proud of him for that. That's excellent. And then an amazing letterer, a guy named Marco de la Verde, and he's somebody I just kind of stumbled across, but he is phenomenal. I mean, he has done such great work on my books, and it's one of those things where he has such an eye for detail, and he's such a craftsman that he does things, and I'm like, wow. You know, I mean, even when we go through the campaign, I'll point out some of the things that he's done as a letterer, and you realize that, like, man, a letterer can raise your book to a whole new level. And I think that's what it is with every level of production. If you're able to get the right folks, you start with an idea, but man, it grows and it grows, and people are just, you know, adding, and people are helping your book just be better and better. So, you know, that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
Nice. Out of curiosity, by the way, welcome Jennifer Grover. How's it going? Is your wife also creative? Like, does she like write like you do? Does she do art? stuff like that.
She's she's a different style of writer than I am. I mean, she's creative, but she doesn't give herself much credit for that. She's very much, I think, a technical writer as well. She's also written very much kind of, a scientific and educational kind of a bent.
Oh, wow.
But she actually is very creative, and she's actually my editor because, punctuation is not my friend. But so she actually is very creative. She hasn't quite yet, made the move to creating properties or anything of that nature. It may happen at some point, but she does an amazing job in kind of helping keeping my products grounded. Nice. and also retaining the voice, but not over talking, because the art needs to tell a good chunk of the story as well. The things that the art can tell, the art needs to tell. The words are just telling the parts that the art doesn't tell.
Yeah,
you don't need the words telling you what you're seeing. That's that's not helpful.
Comic books are a visual medium, so you gotta let the art do the work. But where you need to fill in the blanks and do some like backstory or as needed,
Right, exactly.
The dialogue to help learn more about the character. Oh my gosh, Jennifer is really loaded right now. Behind the man, yep.
That's right. That's exactly how it works.
Oh, how did I get a wrench? I'm grateful, but how did I get it? Oh, I did. You get a wrench. You get a wrench. Everyone gets a wrench.
Everyone. Wrenches for everyone.
Yeah, so, because I know you're cool, Jennifer. You're cool like that. So, yeah, it always helps to have an editor because, no matter how many times you proofread your own work, sometimes you can be blind to your own mistakes, and having a second or third pair of eyes is really useful. So that's really cool.
And it's great too because you know your own story so intimately that sometimes you neglect to tell the audience certain things just because you already know it. And hey, these are things that you're going to need to introduce. The audience doesn't have the intricate knowledge of the story, that I already have. Because, when you world build, you know so many more things than you're ever going to have the ability to write.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
When you now, if I have the timeline correct, you actually did the live action short for Black Tiger first, didn't you? And then the book second?
So this is what happened. We published Black Tiger in 04, 05 through Diamond.
Okay.
Same penciler, same inkers, but this is one thing I definitely learned about the production process. Every single level of your production is important. So got, amazing penciler, amazing inker, and really kind of skimped on the colors and the letters. And that's destructive. That's absolutely destructive to a book. And, kind of realized it a little bit too late. There are other forces that are at work that really, as crowdfunders, we don't have to contend with. When you worked with a Diamond, you weren't given any information about who was buying your book in terms of shops. So I never knew where the books were selling, where they weren't. I found out subsequently that there were shops that wanted to reorder, but Diamond wasn't interested in those kind of numbers. If this shop maybe wanted 10, another shop wanted 10, so maybe a few hundred books that could have been reordered. Diamond wasn't interested in that, so they just kind of shut that down. But I think a lot of it was a lack of information and inability to market that really kind of made that a black hole. not to mention kind of what you had to pay, to work with, to work with Diamond, especially as an independent, you really had to pay to play. And this is a different world that we're in now. Like Robert Geronimo says, it's a renaissance that we're in now. And there's direct connectivity between creators and readers, which is huge. It gives creators a whole different level of accountability.
Oh yeah.
It gives creators a different level of feedback. It's interesting. I think with the big two, they've got all these great ideas, great being in air quotes, about these different agendas that they want to push. But listen to people. People don't want their escapism tainted. People want to enjoy great stories. They want to enjoy timeless stories. They don't want stories that are, 2 years from now are going to be, moot because whatever, the administration is different, or this is different, or nobody really cares about this issue anymore. That's not, we get enough of that in our real life. We don't need that in our comic books.
Yeah, doing straight.
And just allowing creators to create the stories that they want to create without the editing, without, hey, you can't do that. Well, sure you can. You created that book. And you know what? The beauty of voting with your dollars is if you like it, buy it. And if you don't, then just get stepping, move. Yeah. You don't have to make a scene out of it. If you don't want the book, just don't buy it. It doesn't have to become, a national event.
Yeah, why are you wasting time griping about the book when you could just go about your life and do something else?
Yeah, no, seriously. And that's my whole, and you know what the reality of the matter is? A lot of the folks that are griping, they weren't going to buy any book in the first place.
Yep.
So it's like you're griping about something that you don't love and that you don't really have a vested interest in. You're looking just for a podium to stand on and just to be heard.
Oh yeah.
But you're not a comic book fan.
That's the issue with SJW, social justice, where it's all they're about is destroying fandoms, and they're making like they're concerned about helping the companies they work for make a profit, but they're targeting content to an audience that doesn't exist and doesn't buy books. It doesn't buy merchandise.
And that's exactly why the big two are suffering right now.
Mm-hmm.
They have abandoned their core audience, and they are appeasing folks who don't buy comic books. It's
so backwards. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness, it's insanity.
Yeah. Insanity. Welcome, Edwin. Sign up for the Ace mailing list Acevedo. Hail, peeps.
Edwin.
I already shared your Twitter handle.
Yes. Yeah, so Beyond Time Inc., that's my Twitter. You can, and also my YouTube, where you can watch a few things that we've put together, like the short that Wayman and I were talking about for Black Tiger, and also a 10-minute animatic for Magna's on there.
Sweet.
Thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Looked into your book, was very interested, bought a perk.
That is amazing. Thank you so much. Love this community.
Oh, hell yeah. You're so funny. All right, let's see here. Hey, sweethearts, please look into Beyond Time's book. It is amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Let's see here. Super excited. It must be because you're loaded. Too funny. So all right, so you did the book, you then did a live action video, and then you went into Magna. So since this is your third campaign, what kinds of cool things have you learned through the course of doing these crowd?
It's funny. I still feel very green, because I feel even over time, this is like, for instance, one thing I've learned now, like when we did the film, we were marketing to a different group. And honestly, we were marketing to, some independent independent film folks, We were marketing to folks that were fans of Robin Shou from Mortal Kombat. We were marketing to folks who were fans of Angela Fong, who used to be a WWE diva. So like the marketing strategy was totally different. You know, so we were able to get the funds, but then we were able to make something that appealed, and it won the Spirit of Comic-Con award back in 2014. I'm telling you, that time flies. But in terms of who we were marketing to we didn't market to like a core comic book fan. And I'll tell you, with Black Tiger, so there were two campaigns. It started off kind of before I even really knew what was up. I started off with the Kickstarter campaign, and that's when I really got introduced to the community. John Malin had me on, kind of hit me to what was going on. So I had no idea, you know. And then we were able to hit that goal, and then we did an Indiegogo campaign. And the night and day really between the Indiegogo and the Kickstarter was like basically me shaking down all my family and friends, you know, seriously, to get it going. But Indiegogo, that campaign was pure. That was this community. That was folks that decided, because I'd already shaken down all my family and friends by that point. This were people that wanted comic books. These were people that loved comic books. So when I really look at it, that was a renaissance in and of itself. And now I've started building a true core. Now the people that are buying the books is not me trying to shake down family and friends. Say, hey, help me get this going. No, it's with the community, and it's with people that love comic books. So I feel like this has been, even though it's the third campaign, this is like my first real campaign with the real community and really building it up the right way.
Right on. Yeah. Pretty sweet. If you were to jump back in time, is there anything in particular, anything specific with any of those campaigns? For example, the perks, the tiers, how you fulfilled that you would have changed? I mean, other than maybe printing some additional product for Black Tiger. Because I think a lot of creators, they'll say, you might want to do at least 10% overprint to cover damages, resends, and if you want to have a collection of books to keep for your family legacy.
Right. I think, you know, in terms of what I would potentially do differently, actually, I think a lot of it is just would have been engaged in the community faster, you know. And I didn't, because we live in a different world than when I first published with Diamond. And honestly, I think, you know, I'm small potatoes, but I think people that had done a lot more work in the industry, they're going to struggle with that. They think that they're just going to slap their name on something and people are going to go and buy their book, and it's not going to happen. You know, you have to build rapport. People want to know who you are. Yeah, they want to know about your content, but they also want to know that you really love comics. They want to know that, you know, you're a real person, and that also you're going to be respectful of them. And by that, I mean, you need to be responsive to people. You need to be respectful of people, and just not be a jerk. You know, I think that's playing more and more because it's really becoming a consumer-driven market, probably as it always should have been. But you can't, you know, comic creators can't sit on a pedestal and just make books and be inflammatory towards their fans and then think that people are going to buy their books. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Again, it's like backwards mentality. It's like, how is putting down the fandom going to be productive for you selling your book?
Yeah. And the other thing is people in this movement are making books for the sake of books. You know, and I think that's also the reason why the quality is so high. Oh, wait a minute, you know, there's so many good books. And one of the things that as I've kind of talked with different people on different shows, I've come to the realization of one of the reasons why comics suck so much by the big two is they're trying to make things also that are geared towards movies. So you can't have the budget be too big. You can't go all over the place. You know, you just need some talking heads. You know, that's not what any of us are doing. You know, we're building worlds that you almost can't make into a movie because the budget would be too absurd. You know, we're making comics like back in the day. I mean, it's like, you know, you look at some of those books and the stuff that the Fantastic Four would do in one issue. You know, you're like this. You know, they'll go fight something in Latveria. They'll go to New York. Then they'll go to the negative zone. They'll do it all in one issue. You know, you can't. If you're trying to constrain your content for a medium like TV or movies, you are chopping comic books at the knees. You got to make comic books for the sake of comic books and because you love them and that you want to just make the best content that you can.
Indeed.
And we're seeing that, man. There's so many good books out there right now. It's absurd.
Yeah, Jennifer says, I loved what you thought. I loved what I saw. You're more than welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. That's awesome.
Yes, when people see your book, they love the content. Oh my God! To be honest, I really am loaded. Right now, and somehow I have a rank. Oh my God! Crack me up, Jennifer. Oh,
it's like the magical Uru wrench that flew into her hand. You know, just
well,
calling the wrench.
Isn't that how it worked with Thor? When people see you, get to know you on a stream, they see your personality, your heart, and you have a sweetheart personality and temperament.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And at the end of the day, you know, these are comics. I mean, if we're not enjoying ourselves, we're not doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, you know, I've got a day gig. You know, I don't want comics to be like that. I want comics to be that escapism. I want it to be fun.
That's what I was missing out of the comics industry. You know, even as early as the 80s, they were starting to get super serious and they were trying to inject politics and, you know, they were trying to get political.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they started doing stories related to the Twin Towers and, you know,
oh man,
it was like, what happened to my comics?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I wanted a story in Metropolis or wherever. You know, what's going on here? I already know what's going on in the real world. I don't need that in my comics.
For sure. Let's check out this trailer here.
Let's do it.
Magna, the Last Pantheon.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to Tree City, Idaho. The year is 1942. Spring is in the air, but times are tense as the world finds itself at war. While high school senior Kari Skogsholm finds her provincial life unfulfilling, her parents are eager to keep their lives and, most importantly, their extraordinary daughter under the radar as long as they can. But time is not on their side. They prepare to flee to protect Kari, but something within her compels her to stay and take a stand. It's time to learn truths that have been kept from her, be it out of love or fear or something else. It's time to answer the calling upon her life, whatever that may be. So her journey begins, and things will never be the same. But Kari's story finds its roots millennia prior. The men of renown, known as the sons of God, and the daughters of men in the first and second heavens, joined with raised arms one last time, combining all the power that they had to command. And the heavens, above the world, the last stand of these mighty men, was also the last appearance of the agents of destruction, until their reemergence in 1942. Kari must learn the truth about herself, determine the end game of these supernatural agents of destruction, and how to stop them before all is lost.
Yes, sir.
Volume 1. Is she a Viking?
Well, there's definitely. So let me give you a little bit about the story. So the protagonist, Kari Skogsholm, she through that creature right there, when that creature attacks her home, in defending her family, she learns some truths about herself. She learns that her parents are actually her adoptive parents. That they're not her biological parents, and kind of like it said in the video, this is taking place in 1942. So we're in a fictitious city called Tree City, Idaho, and they had basically taken refuge there. They'd seen this creature almost 2 decades before, and were basically they left their motherland and went to the U.S. for refuge. So this takes Cotty on basically on a pilgrimage of sorts, but on a journey of self-discovery. So she goes back to the homeland of her adoptive parents in Finland. Now, in Finland at this time, this is Europe is in the heat of World War II. So, Finland is facing aggression from Russia and from Germany. So she finds herself in the midst of some conflict in that regard. And then, I'm not going to tell you how, but she finds herself in Asgard. And in Asgard, she comes basically to, she ends up being in league with a group of mighty men of old, of gods, deities, but it's a hodgepodge. It's the last pantheon. It's the last surviving of these gods. Some from the Aesir, which is Asgardian. Some are Olympian. Some are Egyptian. Some are from Chinese pantheon, and they've banded together for the sake of survival. And she now finds herself in the midst of their struggle for survival, and then ultimately finds herself being the linchpin to their survival and her own survival. So very high level, that is the storyline of Magna, the Last Pantheon.
My goodness. That's wild. Frog G says, your drive and heart comes through on the streams. You have a passion for your books, and that's what's missing in the big two.
Thanks, Frog G. One of the big things for me and one of the nails in the coffin, honestly, for me not buying books from the big two anymore is when I came to the stark realization that I cared about their characters more than they cared about them.
Yes, indeed.
And I was more invested in their characters than they were invested in their characters. I was like, this isn't right. They can't continue to get my money if I care more about their characters than they care about them. I want people that are creating books that care about their characters so I can come along for the ride with them.
Yeah. Yeah. When they stop caring, it's like equivalent to them just throwing it in the trash, like in the movie where Spider-Man throws away the spider suit.
Yeah. No, pretty much. Because then at that point, you're willing to do anything. You're like, oh, you don't care.
Yeah.
You don't care about these characters.
Yeah. Jennifer says, that's right. Sometimes we need to escape our real life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jennifer.
And she has a wrench.
Beware my wrench.
The mighty Uru wrench.
Yeah. Thank
you.
The art. She has had the power bestowed upon her.
She does. She's worthy. Hey, what's up, Unhinged?
Hail, Jason.
Yes. He's got a great book in Absolute. So if you haven't checked that out, do yourself a favor. I have my copy, but I have a bunch of books. Probably not as many as you do, Wayman, but I have a bunch of books I'm going to read over the holidays, and
nice.
Absolute is one of them.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. As crazy as it sounds, I made 185 backings so far over the past year alone. And
you are a beast.
I've gotten a lot of products fulfilled. I still have to pinpoint what I'm still waiting for.
Yeah.
But, excuse me. But I haven't read any of them yet.
You're gonna be like under an avalanche of books.
I know.
Oh my goodness! You got to take some time over the holiday season and just go, basically, and you just got to go into hibernation and just read.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Frog G points out. Yeah, looking for more Absolute. Sign up for Absolute Book 2 now.
That's right.
It's on their pre-launch sign up.
I'm there. Definitely.
Thank you. Got my Black Tiger hardcover today. It looks gorgeous, man.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for supporting that. And like what I was telling Wayman earlier, Black Tiger is all gone now. Everything we've completely sold out. So I appreciate you hopping on board and getting that book, man. And this is all in the same universe. So Magna and Black Tiger all in the same universe.
That's got to be a crazy, exciting feeling to not only fulfill your campaign, but literally sold out of all your stuff.
It was amazing because last thing I wanted to do was have to start using books as furniture and all kinds of stuff. We live in an apartment. I can't just go putting books in other places. So in that regard, it was. I'm very glad. I'm actually very thankful to the community because like you had asked what I would do differently, and I think at least with this campaign, I got off early in terms of letting people in the community know about the book and doing like apps like Unhinged is doing right now, building that list of people, and that helped us get off to a fast start. I didn't do all of that with Black Tiger. So, I mean, if you look at that campaign, we made most of our sales in demand. So that was just people being cool. People just, getting on board. They're like, oh, I never heard of this. Let me check it out. So yeah. I was really encouraged because where we ended, I was kind of discouraged where we ended. I was like, oh man, I was like, am I even going to be able to, you need to order a certain minimum amount of books just for critical mass, just to get the printing cost down enough. And I was like, am I going to be stuck with a bunch of books? But fortunately that did not happen. And that's thanks to the community. Seriously, it is.
Right. Yeah. I mean, for it only being your, it was technically your first, right? You did the book or the live action. So that was quite impressive. And you actually ended on, it's kind of cool, 123 backers, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. Which is amazing to me. I'm so happy.
Yeah. There are some first-time campaigns that don't even get that high. 5802 USD.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sweet.
And at the end of the day, it's really about delivering for the backers, and then just trying to grow that. The reality of the matter is, I mean, it's like, if this is something that you want to do and you want to kind of be able to perpetuate and grow this, I mean, the numbers are big, but it's not absurd. If eventually I can get to 500 backers that really like the product and want to come back, I mean, then I've got like a legitimate model there where I can continue to just put out, so it's one of those things where it's a big number, but it's not an obnoxious number. Yeah. And it's something that over time, as people see that I deliver, and not just for me, for Unhinged, for everybody, that I think people are going to start getting there.
Yeah. The thing about your campaign was I didn't hear about it or see it until kind of late in the game.
Yeah.
And but as soon as I saw it, as soon as I saw the artwork and learned about the story and realized just how badass it was, I knew I had to have it. You could tell from the campaign it was easily worth getting. So, it really wasn't, it didn't require any arm twisting or anything like that. If you present what you got and it connects, then, you're not going to have any issues getting support from people. Yeah. But like you said, to your point, it does take, getting out there, promoting, building a platform, building a, I guess you might say, a following, fan base, if you will.
Yeah.
So for Magna, you did do a pre-launch, right?
I did. And that helped. So the pre-launch was great, and that helped us to get off to a fast start on the first day. And the goal is low because production is already completed on the book, and really it's just about getting the book into people's hands. So I just had a $500 goal, but it was nice, to clear that pretty fast in the first day, and then you realize, okay, well now we'll just continue to build some momentum. So that was a good feeling, because I was nervous going into launch it. I was just like, man, what if I launch this and just nobody starts to grab onto this book. So that's a scary thought.
I think it's kind of, I understand where you're coming from, but I think it's fairly safe to say that, if you got like Asgard, you've got gods, you've got monsters, and you've got attractive women, you're pretty much hitting all the nails on the head for the CG audience. I think you're gonna it's going to appeal to many people. So did you find it? I was always curious, since you had to target your book and your live action pilot or video short to different audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find there was some overlap between the live action content and the book? And were you able to take all the supporters from both of those campaigns and bring them into the mailing list for this Magna?
So I have been able to bring in all the backers from the different campaigns, and I think that's what enabled us to get off to a good start too. It's one of those things where it's almost kind of, people they get the notice, and then for some folks they jump on it immediately, and then for some other folks, I'm just gonna have to continue to kind of drip, let them know, periodically where we are with the campaign, and especially let them know before the campaign ends.
Oh yeah, that helps.
Because I haven't done a lot, honestly. I mean, it's like I haven't done a campaign update. I sent to the mailing group. I sent when basically launching, and then I sent a 1 week update, and both kind of garnered some response. But I also realize that it's still pretty early in the campaign, and for some folks are going to wait. For some folks, just so that they don't miss out, they're going to jump on it immediately. Because I know how it is too. I've done that, and honestly, I've just started backing campaigns. I haven't backed as many as you, but I think I've backed 90.
Whoa, nice.
So I mean, it's one of the, but the crazy thing is I have missed a couple just trying to time them. Well, let me hold off. So I really don't do that anymore. I'm like, if I see something, unless I have to like wait a couple weeks, I just go ahead and I just back it. I'm like, that looks cool. That's how it was with Absolute. I mean, I had missed Absolute, and then was on a show with Unhinged, and I got my first exposure to it, so I just backed it while we were on the show. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Let me get this.
Wow.
Because what happens? You go on and you forget, and then maybe you don't see it in a feed, and the next thing you know, it's not even in demand. Maybe it's gone, and you're just like, oh man, I missed out.
I've actually missed out on a couple of campaigns. I've been at this for a year now, over a year, and despite the fact that I've backed all these campaigns, and despite the fact I've met all these awesome creators, there are still campaigns that I never hear about it, and sometimes it's till maybe they're even in demand.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly relying on other promoters to get the word out, so it comes across my radar.
Exactly.
It's pretty wild. And as someone commented before, it seems like if you compare number of CG products today compared with a year or two ago,
oh man,
it's probably quadrupled easily.
And the quality is so high.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many books that are just fire. And that's what is really exciting me now, is I just feel like everybody's been stepping up their game, and I think we're all just getting more used to this, and also collaborating and all those kind of things. There's so many good books, and it just makes me so happy because there's so many books I actually love and care about.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to draw me in. I'm not focused on any particular genre, but if you show me a cool book and that you've done something really cool with a concept, even if it's a concept that's being used multiple times. If you show me you're doing something really cool with the concept, you really care about the book and love it, I'm going to be there.
Yeah, I'm very much the same way. You might have heard me say before on another stream that prior to CG, I'd never really been big into horror or zombies, but since I've been with CG, so many of the projects I've backed and received are zombies and monsters and horror.
Yeah,
It's funny. It's so funny how many books there are out there that cover those kinds of topics. And now I'm seeing a trend where there's a lot of things about Vikings and Asgard and Ragnarok. So
yeah,
it's pretty trippy. It's pretty trippy indeed.
and it's weird. It's almost, and I don't. It's kind of funny because you're right. You know, there was I think it wasn't that long ago. There were a whole bunch of books I ended up picking up. You know, The Kill Journal, Wirehead, all these horror books. You know, just a bunch of horror books. And then like, it's funny because I was looking at a post that Tonto put up, and then had like my book, had Sovereign Wolf, had Professor Murph's book, and I looked at them and they all have like werewolves on them. You know, I'm like
Exactly.
I promise you, we didn't consult about that. You know, just kind of happened.
You sure you don't have secret meetings going on?
I don't know.
Back rooms.
Maybe there's some kind of subliminal messages that I received. It's like, okay, this is what you need to put in the book. Hey, I got a great idea. I'm going to put this in the book.
Exactly. Unhinged is saying ahoy to Jennifer Gruber. Let's see here. Looking for more Absolute? Sign up for Absolute Book 2.
Yes, indeed.
You got its hardcover. Or
Yes, sir. That's awesome.
Black Tiger.
I'm excited.
Let's see.
Thanks, Unhinged. Appreciate it, man.
I backed Magna already. Psyched about it. Why
That's
don't
awesome.
I have 2 yeahs there? What am I doing? You're pretending to be EVS. Yeah. That's what you're doing. Good seeing you. Been a bit. Oh my God, I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say that it's so good to see you too. I'm quite loaded right now, so my fingers are slippery. Matt says, "Oh, look, werewolves."
Yeah.
Thanks,
Edwin.
Sign up for that Ace mailing list. That's Aveda. Welcome. Back Magna on Indiegogo. Yeah, right on. Please share. Please like, share, and subscribe to WyzGyz Entertainment. Thank you so very much. Appreciate it.
That's awesome. And you know, and this is what really makes the community work and move. I mean, people like you women who have people on and allow us to share, and you know, this is how Edwin, my man, this is how it works. You know, and this is why this whole comic book you know, renaissance is so different. You know, it really is the power to the people. You know, it really is, hey, you know, get in line with, you know, get on board with the community. And I think people will quickly sniff out folks that are just hopping in, just trying to, you know, glom on and, you know, try to, you know, it's not going to work because you need to be a part of the community.
For sure. Yeah. I can hear in your voice how passionate and excited you are. I'm the same way, because I mean, it literally is a comic book renaissance.
Yeah. And
it just pumps you up with adrenaline, and it gives you the faith and the energy and the drive. It basically is an open playing field, and anyone who's got an idea can create a book.
Yeah.
You don't have to rely on the big two anymore.
Mm-mm.
That's no longer the path to success.
No. And on top of that, I mean, now, I mean, fully, the books that are coming out of this community are higher quality. And it's not just story, it's also art.
Yeah. And so many are graphic novel level. You know, like the imagery in your book right here. It's freaking cool. It's ultra realistic, but you know, it still feels like a comic. And this is the kind of stuff I really dig. Jason says, I appreciate your support, John. I hope you like it.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Crack open absolute.
Yeah, exactly. Sign up for the ACE mailing list. That's a good idea.
Oh, you got it. I'm already signed
The
up.
last pages. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, last pages is crazy.
I'm looking forward to that. You know, the Diaz brothers, man. I mean, they have done such a great job of just really putting kind of a business model around how you do this.
Yeah.
You know, they're great. I mean, if you have any questions, they'll tell you kind of how they're going about the business, you know, of crowdfunding books. I mean, actually, their Magic Cop was one of the big reasons that I made the Legacy of Fury books so big, you know, because that was kind of their first book, and they provided like a full story arc. And you know, they provided a full story arc. They got everybody's confidence in them that they could deliver. And that was kind of with Black Tiger. I was like, you know what? I want to be able to do the same thing. I want people to get a book, and I want them to be able to get a full story arc. And then, yeah, you'll be able to springboard from there to other stuff. But this is the first introduction to the universe. So I don't want to give you a small book for the introduction, because there's so much that I need to introduce to the fans, and then they feel like, okay, I really got my money's worth. And that was something that Phil did, you know. And I said, you know what, that's a great way to go about it. Now these next campaigns, now that I've already introduced the world, like this is 75 pager, so it's still a good amount of meat.
Yeah,
you know, it's still not 172 like Black Tiger, but it's 75 pages. So this is the first half. It's volume 1. It's a 2-volume set for this story arc, and you know, we're going to have this in people's hands by the end of Q1, and then we're going to launch the next Black Tiger campaign, and that production is already done. So we plan to get that into people's hands by Q2, and then in Q2, then at the end of Q2, we want to launch the next volume of Magna, and that production is already done. So I'm trying to get a little bit of runway so that I can get people books in a periodic fashion. So that's what I'm really trying to do here.
My goodness. How are you knocking out all this production so quickly? And
you know, honestly, I started a long time ago, and even before I really had a vision for how I was going to distribute them, because I already knew that Diamond wasn't the way. So it was almost just kind of a geek fantasy. You know, I was working with the artists, and we just continued to make books. You know, so we just kind of continue to hammer away at it. And now, you know, this Renaissance has provided the vehicle through which these books can actually be delivered. You know, and it was one of those things that's just amazing. You know, I mean, I anyone that has a love of comics, anyone that's looking to, you know, put their book out, this is the time. You know, this is the time to get your feet in the water. This is their time, you know, to share your books. This is your time, you know, to get your team together. And there's so many talented people, you know, that it doesn't matter if you don't draw. It doesn't matter if you don't ink. It doesn't matter if you don't color or letter. All the resources are here.
Yeah, you can build your own team literally. Yeah. From the talent that you have here at your disposal.
Absolutely, absolutely. And people are so generous. People are so generous. I was on a show with Ryan Wynn, and he just, you know, just being a cool dude, he was sketching some stuff, and he created a sketch card for Magna, and it looks amazing. You know, whoa. And he's like, do with it as you will. I'm like, this looks amazing. I'm like, but I got to take care of you somehow. I can't just, you know, but it's gorgeous. And I'm like, but that's the heart that people have. You know, people just want to help each other. Now, you know, people aren't going to do things to the, you know, where they're not able to feed themselves, but you know, people want to be helpful. And I want to be a part of that community, and I want to be helpful too. I want to help people get where they're trying to go as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, part of my drive for doing what I do is because I've seen a number of campaigns that have fallen by the wayside. They may not have been even CG, or pre-CG. They might have just been, you know, comics that were indies. But I look at some of the talent behind these projects, and I see that they were unsuccessful in funding, and it broke my heart that, you know, there are these cool creators who aren't getting their projects funded.
Yep.
And I figured I had to do something to try and prevent that from happening, and try and push creators to the forefront, and, you know, get more eyeballs on them.
Yeah.
And try and contribute to getting them funded.
Well, what you've done, what everyone that has a show has done is they've basically killed the gatekeepers. You know, because I mean, they're, you know, kind of the big two were the gatekeepers for people to get into the industry, and of course, you know, their image opportunities and things like that. But they were really the gatekeepers, and if you were going to get in, you were going to get in on their terms. But by having, and this is the beauty of the community, you can participate by having a show. And by having a show and allowing people, I mean, you become an important component of the community, because that's how people get to know product, you know, and that's one of the things that I love. You know, you don't have to do everything, you know, but all the components are here. You know, there are people like yourself that have shows. There's some people that, you know, make books and maybe have a show. Some folks like myself, I make books, I don't have a show. You know, I work, you know, I hop on shows, I get in chats, I just, you know, I have a good time and meet people. And it's great because I go on shows and I get in chats and I know folks, you know, like these are my people, you know, we're all hanging out, we're enjoying the chat, we're talking, we're seeing each other on different shows.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's so fun. It is so fun. And so fun to be able to interact with people, especially with this stupid self-quarantine and the lockdowns and all that stuff. You know, it gives you a chance to like breathe and communicate with others, communicate with your peers.
Yeah, that's real.
Jennifer says, community, yes. Edwin says, this looks good.
Thank you, brother.
Jason said, I'll try and catch all the covers as paychecks.
I hear you, man. That's why I had to laugh. That's why I was laughing, because I was just like, you know, even with my wife, she was showing me our credit card, giving me input like what our credit card looks like. So I've got to pace myself a little bit more.
Matanui says, I just show up because I need stuff to do.
Hey, that's fair too. You know what? There's no judgment here, man.
Yeah. And, you know, for a lot of people, you know, if you're not keeping busy then it could lead to serious stuff like depression.
I know.
And that's why this is another reason why ComicsGate is so important, because it gives people an outlet to vent and also share their passions, share their mutual passions, and have fun, laugh, and enjoy escapist entertainment.
That's right. And we don't want that entertainment, you know, sullied or you know, or dulled or tainted. You know, we want people to, you know, be able to create what they're going to create, and we can come along for the ride.
Yeah. You mentioned that your wife showed you the credit card statement. That's important to have someone who can keep you grounded.
Yes.
That's really important. And that was also kind of a segue to why I was a little concerned that you went with 500. I mean, you said the production was done, so that makes me, you know, very relieved. But sometimes when people go with the minimum, as I understand it, Indiegogo's minimum is 500.
That's correct.
For a goal.
That's correct.
Usually, you have to be like an experienced comic book professional to pull that off, like an EVS or a mail-in, or your boy Zach. But you know, you apparently have a whole lot of stuff done already, and you have things planned out really well, and you've got a game plan. So this is pretty dang awesome that you were able to even afford to do this and consider a flex goal of 500.
No, I agree. It is definitely fortunate that I'm able to do that.
But that is because of your careful planning and your hard work that you put in early on. Because if this were like still a pretty newbie creator, and they only had like say 25% of their book done, they'd be taking an enormous risk doing a $500 flex goal.
Oh, big time, big time. If you can't, you have to be truthful about what your need is, because at the end of the day, and for us, the book's already produced, so it's just printing and distribution. But it's okay if your need is larger, but you have to be truthful about it, because otherwise people think you got to where you needed to get to. And you haven't, and the risk is other people's money. Other people are investing in you, and if people invest their money in you, you really want to be able to deliver, because I think those are the situations that kind of sully it for everybody else. It's like people don't seem to remember, the hundreds of books that are getting fulfilled, but that book that doesn't get fulfilled, oh man, that's the reason why I don't back books. Heard about that book? It's like
yeah, exactly. And I was on a stream where we were discussing this kind of stuff, and they pointed out, I think it was Harrison Bergeron I was speaking with, who has that game, the video game with CG property characters.
Yeah.
And
really cool.
He pointed out, well, actually several creators have pointed out to me, look, you hear from backers who tell you, look, I'm going to back this book, I just got to wait till I get paid again. That is such an enormous responsibility. Them telling you they're willing to dedicate a chunk of their paycheck to make your dream come true.
Yes.
That is a serious and important responsibility you have to take. You don't take lightly.
I agree. It is. It's a responsibility. And it's stewardship. It's stewardship of other people's funds at the end of the day. You have to deliver on that. Because this is, and people are taking real money, money they could be doing other things with. And, and that's what always gets to me too. People say, oh yeah, you know what, next paycheck I'm going to do it. And I'm like, it's just a great reminder that, people are investing in your property and you have to do it.
Yeah. It means they trust in you. They believe in you to deliver.
Yeah.
And they believe so much in your product that they're going to go out on a limb and trust that you are going to deliver.
That's right. That's a big deal. I mean, it's very humbling actually when you think about it. Even as I'll tell you, as challenging as it can be to fulfill, that is the most fulfilling part. The most fulfilling part is just like with Unhinged, when he said I got the book. Man, that's to me, that's like, oh, you breathe.
Yeah.
People got their books.
Yes, exactly.
And where I am with the Black Tiger campaign, there are probably about 15 graphic novels that have yet to be sent out, and those are the ones that come with a slipcase. So I'm just kind of like with the printer. I'm like, you got to get that slipcase done. I need to get these books into people's hands.
Yes. Absolutely. If I'm not mistaken, I did the backing that included the slip cover.
The slipcase? Okay, so then you're in that group of 15 or so that their book hasn't been sent out yet. But that slipcase is going to be, you're going to love it.
Yeah, I mean, you actually, excuse me, you actually don't need to apologize. I mean, I back these campaigns knowing there's some risk behind it. It is crowdfunding after all. But at the same time, I tend to be very, very patient, especially with CG creators. The bulk of my backings, the majority, 95, 98% of my backings are exclusively CG.
Yeah.
And I give a lot of leeway. I'm very, very patient. And that's why I'm not pissed off when it takes 6 months to a year to deliver. Because I've got so many books I still have to read anyway. So.
Right. Oh, you've got a lot of books you still have to read.
Yeah. I've got all of the books I still have to read.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to adding Black Tiger to your stack very soon.
Hell yeah. I mean, I'm just looking over this artwork and it's freaking amazing. You have a
Thank you.
great crew. You've got a great team.
And they really caught on to the vision, and then like any great artist, then they add to it and they make it even better. You know, so I got to play with a lot of fun, you know, mythological characters. You know, got to you know, kind of construct a pantheon. It's the hodgepodge pantheon. And so I take a lot of license here. You know, take a lot of license.
Welcome, Eric McIntyre. Good to have you. Hey,
yes, sir.
And
what's up, Eric? Chris is here now.
Yeah. Too many live streams going on right now, and I can only watch one at a time. Curses. Yeah. I got an invite to, I think it was White Cat Comics, and I wanted to join.
Oh, yeah.
I had an appointment here, and I wasn't about to miss this since it was already booked. What I often end up doing, like, I will literally attend, you know, all the live streams that that are going on at once. So I'll have them all open in different tabs, and then I'll have everyone, but all of them but one muted.
Yeah.
And then I'll listen to one, and then periodically, you know, type in chat, and then I'll mute it, jump to another one, and you know, see what they're discussing, and I'll just play musical chairs and bounce around between streams, and you know, try and contribute to their watch hours, public watch hours.
Exactly.
And you know,
because that helps for the different streams. My hope is that all of you guys all get monetized, you know, so you can, you know, continue the great work you're doing and make a little coin in the process.
That would be nice. Did you hear what YouTube's doing now?
No. What are they doing now?
They changed. They updated their terms of service, and now they exercise the right to show ads on your videos, even if you're not monetized. If you're not a YouTube partner and you haven't gone through the trials and become a YouTube partner, which is at least far as I've seen, I need to have 1,000 subs and 4,000 public watch hours.
Okay.
So what they're doing is, you know, they've now, according to their TOS, they've now got the freedom to still throw ads on your channel, and not give you any cut.
So they can make 100%. You don't get anything.
Yep.
That's awful.
Yeah, it's really sad. It's really sad the direction they're going in. It's like all they're interested in is appeasing Hollywood, it seems, because you probably noticed like an influx of Hollywood people creating live streams and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, you're right, and you know, it's like you would think it wouldn't become political, you know, for something, but it really has, and it's sad.
Yeah, they no longer want to create a thriving creator-based platform.
No,
they don't want to support anything like that. You think by now they'd have more than enough money, but they still want more.
Yeah.
Chris says, I seen Carla had one. I'm gonna have to catch the replay of it.
Yeah, over at White Cat. Yes, sir.
Is looking forward to this book. Magna has some cheeks.
That's right. That's right.
Matanui says they can put ads on your videos without you getting anything from it. Exactly.
Yeah.
That might push people to another platform.
Eric, you said exactly what I was going to say. I mean, technology is always pushing forward, and there's going to be another option at some point. They're going to find it. There's an exodus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is greedy and shady. Next thing you know, they'll raise the requirements to be a partner more and more so they can get 100% profit.
You know that.
I heard that might be in the works, that they're going to raise the partnership requirements.
That's terrible.
So that's within the realm of reason. That's quite possible. Manui says, problem is if they start pulling the same crap on those sites. Yeah, yeah, it's like playing. It's like jumping from one platform to another. Kind of like, you know, that game we all played with ISP service providers and cable TV. One moment you're more than satisfied with Spectrum, but then they pull some gimmick, and like by the end of the year, your price goes up. Because all you really had was a 1 year promotional period.
Right, right.
So then you jump to Comcast, and then they pull the same gimmick. So then you jump to DirecTV, and they pull the same gimmick. So then you jump back to that's more or less what I think people are going to start doing on streaming services, on platforms, and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, ultimately, people just need to be able to retain their followership somehow.
Yeah.
And whether you're using a different platform for that or some other means, if once you're able to do that, then you can take your followership anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some creators ultimately seem to think the solution is ultimately post your own website and post all your content there so you don't rely on these third-party platforms anymore. So that might ultimately be the way to go, like what Geeks and Gamers is doing.
Mm-hmm. But they must have, I mean, they've got some engine behind it. So, something they probably didn't build. I mean, they've got to be using some kind of platform, right, for the video.
I think so.
But then I guess if it's on their own site, they can change the platform at will.
Yeah. Yeah, and they do... They do some sort of live streams. Maybe it's through a plugin interface, but it's behind a paywall. So you become a member of their website, and then you have all this content you get to check out. And then part of the value is you get to watch gaming live streams and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, going to BitChute won't matter if these greasy companies start going after that too.
Yeah.
These greedy companies will do whatever they think their watching audience will let them get away with. That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, okay, I meant to say greedy.
Greasy worked though.
I
liked Greasy. I was like, I like that.
Yeah, they both work.
They're greedy and greasy.
Indeed. Yeah, so I'm loving the art. Loving it.
Thank you.
Oh, cool. And you've got all these different. Well, talk about inclusivity and diversity. Holy cow. Chopping the head off.
Yeah. Yeah. And let me tell you, it was just for the sake of the story. I wasn't trying to, at the end of the day, I'm trying to tell a story that I find intriguing. And you see, Guan Yin, you see Monkey King, you see Jade Emperor. So you see like some pretty cool, some pretty cool figures and kind of the four, the dragons from the kind of the four corners of the earth. So, these are just things that are intriguing and interesting. And at the end of the day, I think all of us that are making books right now, we're trying to make books that we want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that's exactly what this is. I'm like, these are all cool things I wanted to see in a book. So I'm like, well, okay, so then I'll put them in a book.
Yeah. Pretty sweet. Yeah, there's Monkey King.
Yeah.
Man. So how detailed do you have to get when you're working with your team? You're the storyteller, so do you get so far as to write out a very detailed script of what the scene looks like, what you're looking for, what angle you're viewing it from, and maybe even what some of the dialogue is? And do you also include any like stick figure drawings or some really rough sketches?
So what I'll often do, and I am someone that I usually have an eye for what it is I'm looking for. So I'm pretty specific with what I write, and then I'll give references. Sometimes they're image references, that I'll see, that I'll pick from pictures online, or, even sometimes I've even used 3D modeling tools just to show something that I wanted, just because my drawing is so poor. But understand, when I provide that is, that's the framework that the penciler gets to work with. But then, when you're working with a good penciler, once you give them what you're looking for, they can oftentimes come up with something better. Because once they know what it is, oh, you're trying to achieve this, I think I can achieve it better doing that. So then you end up with something better. So I've actually found it valuable being specific, but also knowing that I'm holding on to some of this stuff a little bit loosely. And that, like, I want your creative input. I want, this is what I see. What do oh, well, I see where you're going, but this would be cooler. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I mean, even with and then some of the artists, they just do things like, if you scroll back up a little bit, right there. Oh, sorry, that same page, right down to the next page, with these angelic beings being introduced. There are things that, like, the colorist did that I thought was really cool. So I give everybody the full script, and when the colorists read it, they're like, oh man, this is kind of, you have the introduction to these characters, and you would expect it to be a white background, but there's something wrong. There's something kind of tainted about this. The appearance of these angelic beings. So instead, it's very dark and very kind of red, kind of violent, a very kind of a violent background and feeling, and almost kind of sanguine. And that was actually the colorist bringing that to the table on this. And even if you scroll down to the next page, this is part of the reveal of, hey, she's now with the Pantheon, and it's like, yeah, they hold themselves in high esteem, and they're sitting there in their gold. But if you look in the background, it's very dusty and very, you realize that, like, their glory is not what it used to be. It's so yeah, you've got your polished gold, but you're kind of in this dirty, dingy place hiding out for your lives. And those were the elements that the colorists added. Saying, just from a color perspective, this is what I want to do, just to give the feeling or the flavor that this is setting the mood. So the color is really setting the mood. And I like how Ryan Wynn said it. It's like the color is kind of like the music in a movie. It sets the mood. So you can even subliminally start setting the mood of what's going on with the color. And having a great colorist, that's what they do. So that's why I found that it's great to be very, sometimes I kind of overwrite the descriptions, but I want them to know where I'm coming from and what it is I'm trying to portray. And then they help set the settings, whether it's through the pencils, the inking, or the colors, or the letters, and all of those things have come into play. Even if you scroll up, I think a couple of pages to the one where she's fighting the Wolfman, and you see, like, just like the growl, and just like kind of how the growl is kind of shaking, like, you can see that in, like, in the page above, when there's a crunch when she kind of hits the side of the barn, and that crunch is even kind of like that crash. You see kind of how the crash looks like it's shaking. Just so many different things that even a letterer brings to the table. Or when you look at the font of the creature making its sound, I mean, the letterer created that font, just for the creature. And they're small things, but they're things that really add to the depth and the feel when you're reading the book. When you put all that stuff together, it's just like just like a great sandwich with all the right stuff in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Eric mentioned the silhouette panel is so awesome.
That was the penciler and the inker. So I'd already set the stage for that panel, but they were the ones that decided to really use the silhouette and the moon, and it's so effective. Yeah, it's so effective.
Is it this one right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the value when you're working with a team as well. That they can take your idea and then present it in a way that is so much better. And it's like all you see is the silhouette of these characters, but you can feel the intensity.
Yeah.
She's reaching, kind of, a little bit too late trying to stop the creature. Her dad there kind of has a shotgun. He's trying to reload it, but he's too slow. The creature's lunging at him.
Oh,
and you're like, oh man, got to turn to the next page. Oh boy.
Oh, man, yeah. And you can see the movement because he's kicked up some dirt or a lot of dirt or something. And
exactly.
You got the
kind of the foliage in the foreground, and
you got the depth of field. You got the bright light greens of the cornfield stalks,
mm-hmm.
and then you got some in the shadow, and colors are important too. Yeah.
Oh, they're absolutely important. I definitely learned that the hard way with that the first time I did Black Tiger, and the second time we got the colors down pat. The book that you guys are receiving is right where I wanted to be.
Nice. And then you broke out the theme behind this.
Yes.
Seriously, only a $500 campaign goal? The budget for pencils, inks, colors, and letters for 66 interior comic book pages and cover images as well in excess of $10,000. Fortunately, the production has already been financed and completed. Your campaign dollars will go to printing, shipping, and the production of more Magna comic books.
That's right.
I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing, but
sure.
Is it one of those cases where in order to get all these books done, even before launching the campaign, did you actually have to, do something wild like refinance a house, or
no.
to savings and retirement?
Fortunately, no, but this has been in process for quite a while. So, I mean, before I knew how the books were going to get distributed, I was just making them just kind of as a lover of comics and a lover of the medium.
Nice.
And trusting that I was going to have a way to deliver these at some point.
Nice. That's
so actually been working on these. So it's like, this has been very much a bit by bit, piece by piece process, doing you get a few pages in a month, and then a couple of years goes by and you've got quite a volume, of content. So what I'm hoping now is to hopefully kind of accelerate the production process now that I've gotten ahead on a few different books that'll enable us to, provide books on a quarterly basis for the next few quarters to get enough of enough of a critical mass where I can just keep the production machine going and stay ahead. And then you know that you're going to get something on a quarterly basis or so. I'm going to show up with something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all, at least right now, it's all in the same universe. So it's all additive. You're getting part of a complete panoramic here.
Yeah. I was reading some of the other material on your campaign. Does Google Plus still exist? I think that's
defunct now. That's probably, I haven't even used that. So I think I had that at some point, but I
did too. And I totally forgot all about it.
I think that if it does exist, I don't think it's very relevant anymore.
Yeah.
I need to clean that out.
Man, this is such a cool looking campaign.
No, appreciate it.
Let's see here.
And I'll tell you, one of the things working with great folks, so like that first perk right there, it is, you get a cover, you get a copy of the book, and you have 3 covers to choose from. But the thing that's really special about that perk is the penciler, Marcio Abreu, he will do a bust sketch of any character of your choosing. And, he gave me just because I said, you just give me your cost, and he gave me a very reasonable cost to get that done.
Wow.
So something you can get, and this is actually, I know at least one of the 2 people that got that is a CGer that wanted to have their own character, a bust drawing of their own character done. So Marcio is just going to provide Marcio with the references, and Marcio is going to do a bust drawing of their character.
Oh, cool. Cool. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Get a 6 5/8 inch by 10 1/8 inch paperback copy of the graphic novel. By paperback, you're talking perfect bound?
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
With cover of choice and a one-of-a-kind 8 by 10 inch bust sketch of any character of your choosing by Marcio Abreu. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Now, is this the main protagonist? This guy?
No. So this was a bust he did of Red Sonja.
Oh, all right. That is Red Sonja. All right. Good.
Yeah, that's a bust sketch he did of Red Sonja.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and he'll whatever character you got. If it's a character like you want him to do like a Red Sonja, he'll do that. But if you have a character of your own, he does amazing work. He'll knock that out.
That's nice.
Yeah.
So we have Magna Digital. So digital is the digital copy like on PDF format or one of the other ones?
So it's actually going to be contained. It's going to be in a digital reader that is on my site. So you'll be able to read it, and you'll get all 3 issues. You'll be able to read, because basically it's the graphic novel is 3 issues that basically comprise the graphic novel, and that's why there's 3 covers. So when I originally, even though I never published the books through a publisher, I produced them like floppies. So it's basically 3 floppies that make up that first, and these are the 3 covers from the floppies. So from a digital perspective, you'll get the 3, digital issues.
So it's like giving you access to your website, and then you provide like a serial number or code to access the online digital comics.
Yeah, so you'll be able to access the comics right there on the website.
Gotcha. Eric is asking, so what inspired Magna?
Oh man, Eric, so many different things. I mean, growing up, I always loved mythology and was always really captured by mythology. It was always amazing to me. You have these beings with so much power, and yet they were so petty. They were so human. They had all this power, and they were just caught up in all the same kind of stuff that we're caught up in. And I think their humanness always intrigued me. And all the pantheons, they always had a story of a beginning, but also an ending. And one of the things I was kind of toying with, I was like, well, what if there was a commonality between all their endings? What if I could tie the endings of these different pantheons together? And that's kind of started that part of the story going. There are different elements about it being set in 1942. First and foremost, there are going to be more volumes, and they're just things from a historic standpoint that I wanted to touch upon, and I wanted to use the Magna character to do that. So I'm really just getting a hodgepodge of just different things that I'm interested in and that I love, and just having the ability to kind of put all that into one fun, pretty fast-paced story.
Would you release the 3 issues as floppies? That's an interesting question.
That is an interesting question. And it's a possibility. I mean, really, I feel like from a floppies perspective, Peter Simeti knows how to get that done.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got the best model for it, you know, and it's even with the paper quality and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, if I were going to do floppies, that would be more of a direction I would want to go in, you know, because, you know, I think he has the expertise to get that done. That's a big assumption. I mean, if I, you know, he'd have to first want to do it, you know, and he's got a lot of people that are submitting stuff to him right now. but honestly, that would be the direction I would want to go with floppies, just because he really knows what he's doing. He can get it into the hands of individuals like ourselves, and he also can get it into the hands of the shops that are going to survive. Because I mean, really, you know, the shops that are going to survive, they have to realize now that, you know, they're not going to their future is not going to be with the big two. You know, they're going to need to align themselves with folks like Peter that can bring them a good amount of content, a good amount of well-vetted, high-quality indie content at a good price. You know, because really the things that we're doing and the things that I'm buying, there is really collector content. I'm buying collector books. I'm buying, you know, you're buying collector books. These are graphic novels on, you know, thick stock paper, glossy UV, you know, and really, you know, the floppies, that's a little bit older school, but in a good way. You know, it's a great way for folks that maybe aren't collectors, but that would be interested in reading the books. You don't feel so bad about it if it's $1.50 and your kids get their hands on it.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't want your kid grabbing your $25 graphic novel and you know, you're like, no, you know, that's not happening.
Don't use your crayons on my hardcover.
Yeah, exactly.
Eric says, yeah, Pete has floppies down even better than the mainstream.
I really feel like for those shops that are going to survive, they're going to have to really get down with Pete, you know, and maybe if there's some other folks out there that are like him, I don't know who they are, but you know, they're going to really have to find their way with indie books that are strong and high quality, and that's going to be their route. I just don't know, because unless Marvel and DC, which I doubt, they just make a wholesale change. Because they're not marketing to anybody that buys books. And everybody that's buying those books, that is buying the books, they're buying it based on old glory. But I stopped doing that a long time ago. I was like, you know, you know, you have to just kind of mourn it. You're sad, you mourn it, and you move on. You know, I've already mourned it. I'm not crying over that anymore. I'm done with it.
Yeah. Excuse me. I think it's fair to say Marvel and DC have sufficiently pissed me off.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I mean, I'm no longer interested. Well, I haven't been interested in MCU Phase 4 because it looks like woke garbage.
Yeah, I think that's where they're going to jump the shark.
Yeah, I think they jumped the shark with Captain Marvel.
You know what? I think you're right, but I think Endgame those two Avenger movies really just kind of postponed it, you know, because you know what I mean?
Yes.
But now it's like, in the wake of that, what do you have left? You got Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
You know, you know, and it's just like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah. Eric loves collector content, but also loves floppies. It's nostalgic. Yeah.
Me too. And the thing that I like about Pete is he's got floppies properly priced.
Yes.
You know, that's why it can work. You know, that's why it can actually work. If shops are going to be interested. I think, you know, Alterna's going to be there. The question is, are they going to be selling to shops, or are they just going to be selling directly to folks like us? You know, if the shops decide that, you know, they'd rather go down with the ship.
Yeah. Man, that would be sad.
I hate that. But I know the shop near where I'm at already closed, so.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I go to closed momentarily during the shutdown, lockdown. And I guess about 2-3 weeks ago, just reopened. He's trying to diversify and do other things besides just comics, you know, go into like card games and and sell stuff like D&D dice and the like.
Right.
So hopefully it works out for him. And I think he's gonna. I think he might. He's contemplating whether or not to go into, the expensive busts and figurines and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he was looking to do that initially, but then, there's not enough. What is it called? Where you sell it at a fast enough rate to make it worth it.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Definitely a specialty item.
Yeah. I mean, I love figurines and busts, but there are a lot that I don't like, and a few that I do like.
Yeah, exactly.
I usually don't have the money to buy them, so.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah, most of the time I can't afford them.
Yeah.
Eric says, Marvel and DC betrayed their fan base. I'm just collecting Superman back issues and omnibuses.
There you go.
Edwin also loves floppies. So something funny that I do when I go to comic shops now? I look for back issues made by people who are in ComicsGate.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, so like I look for books that are done from EVS and stuff that John Malin and Dan Fraga have done. And I think I even got a few books from Art T. Bear.
Nice.
On stuff he did. So that's mainly what I'm doing because, they're already blowing up on ComicsGate. So their stuff is just going to keep getting worth more and more and more.
Oh, yeah, it is.
The comic shops I have seen doing well have been focusing on selling back issues, statues, manga, and other collectible things now.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that manga is selling shows that there is a market.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to make better books. Well, I think really industry, the indie is going to be indie now. It's not going to be the big two anymore. The big two aren't going to be big two.
Yeah, not for much longer.
No.
It's such a strange feeling going to like a GameStop and seeing how they've changed from their focus being on older consoles and games content to focusing a portion of their shelf space to things like say the top 125 games on every platform on the newest consoles.
Yeah.
And used peripherals, and then having a chunk that's dedicated to merchandise, T-shirts, Funko, Pops. But one of the things they're supposedly doing now is selling those one-up arcade machines.
Oh, really?
And they're also going into the market of build your own PC. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
Yeah, build your own PC. So they're going to start selling fans and graphics cards.
Yeah, for gaming machines.
Memory. Yeah, it almost seems counterproductive because they're starting to compete with the game consoles they're selling. Because PCs have always been in competition with game consoles.
That's right.
And game consoles today are basically PCs.
Yeah, they really are.
Where all you run on them are games.
Right.
So on your digital tier, are you basically going to allow access to it once the physical tiers have been, or while their physical tiers are being sent out?
Yeah, and people may get access to that a little bit earlier than the physical. It'll be after the campaign is ended. I've gotten some good counsel about the printing, so I think we'll be able to get the printing out relatively expediently.
All right.
So I'm not too sure if it is ahead. It won't be too far ahead.
All right.
of the physical books going out.
Eric says that is smart. They have ignored the PC market for a very long time.
Yeah, I guess they're just kind of going into another vertical
Mm-hmm.
and just trying to capture the whole market.
Yeah. I forget the name of it, but there's a computer shop not far from me. I keep wanting to call it Computer City or CompuCom, but I know those are both wrong. But they've actually got a whole department or whole section in their store that is dedicated to building your own PC.
That's a big deal.
They've got all the parts. They've even got people working in that department who can tag along with you with the shopping cart as you build your ideal PC.
Yeah.
Based on your requirements and what looks cool to you. And I was checking out some of the CPU tower cases, and they're looking pretty sweet. I gotta say.
You figure in terms of a demographic, that's got to be the widest and broadest demographic there is. People 8 to 80 play games.
Yes.
Male, female. And when people play, they don't want to have a laggy computer.
Yeah. So the paperback graphic novel Torque, cover number 1.
Mm-hmm. So these first 2 covers are by Elizabeth Torque.
Oh, all right. That's actually her last name. Okay.
That's her. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So that's why they're called the Torque covers. So she did, the first one. It's where, Cody she encounters, I call it the Hund, which is basically one of a spawn of Fenrir. So he is a werebeast, but he's not. The moon is just there for effect, just because it looks cool in the picture. And that was just licensed that the artist took, and I thought it was cool. But this is not a were creature in the fact that, like, without the moon, they turn back to a human. This is what he is.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is what he is.
Gotcha. And then there's cover number 2.
Number 2, when she's in Finland and she's, battling a little bit of Russian oppression. And, I love this picture because, she's hoisting the tank.
Yeah.
You can kind of see in the treads of the tires, you can see that the treads are kind of moving. The snow's kicking off.
Yeah.
The gravel's kicking up. You kind of, and the picture's almost a little snow blindy when you look at like the colors, like her colors, and then like how white it is, like the sun kind of beaming off of the snow.
Yeah.
But kind of how, a little bit duller the colors are. So I love that about that picture. Yeah,
literally, it's like a case of snow blindness if you focus too much on the bright white.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like how this kind of came out where you got the image on display on the left, and then it kind of mirrors or matches up with the tiers for that cover on the right. Same.
That was fortunate.
This one.
That was just fortunate that happened.
Okay. So here's cover number 2.
Yep.
It's also rocking.
Yeah.
And then we've got paperback graphic novel.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, Elizabeth, she produced the first 2 covers, and then she actually started to get some work with the big 2, and they like to hamstring people. They like to try and, I don't know if they do so much now, but they try to put people into contracts that, so they're not able to do other kinds of independent work. Yeah. So she found herself in that situation. She said, I got my brother who can do the art. Now, first thing I'm thinking is, oh, here we go. You're going to try and pawn your brother off on me to.
Now you got stick figures.
Yeah, exactly. But he did a phenomenal job, with this. And I call it kind of behold the Pantheon, behold the Last Pantheon, and the protagonist, she's looking up, and, these larger than life beings with this kind of angelic light beaming down or looking down upon her, kind of looking down their nose at her.
Uh-huh.
So I love that.
Yeah, it's a nice one for sure. And then right here, you've got the Magna print trifecta,
Mm-hmm.
all 3 covers.
So it's 11. So you get 11 by 17 prints of all 3 of the covers.
Oh yeah, those are the prints. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. For a second, I thought they were the printed books, printed book version of all 3. But
So that's
here
this one.
All right.
Exactly.
Graphic novel trifecta. All right.
So you get the book and all 75 pages of its glory, but with each of the 3 covers.
Nice. And how big are these prints?
11 by 17.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're going to have to put those bad boys in a tube and get them out to folks.
Oh my gosh, these are so good.
And I really love the covers, so I wanted to give people the opportunity, for those that wanted to really have, whether they want to put it on their wall or they want to put it in their little folio, and to really have the covers without any insignias, without any, titles, just be able to see the covers unadulterated.
So Magna double trifecta.
So you get all 3 of the prints, you get all 3 of the 11 by 17 prints, and you get all 3 versions of the book. The book with all 3 of the covers.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So 3 graphic novels and 3 prints.
That's right.
Okay, all right. Yeah, when I start seeing things like double trifecta.
Yeah, I know I'm doing too much of all the naming.
Well, it kind of throws me back to horse racing and betting. I'm pretty sure they use terms like trifecta.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Like, it's not a triple double, so I couldn't use anything like that. So
That'd be crazy.
It's a double triple.
Yeah. And then you've got 10 of these Rod Super Looper commissions.
So Rod is the penciler from Black Tiger, and he's providing a full body pencil and ink drawing of any character of the purchaser's choice. So that's pretty cool too. Whether it's a character that you love or a character of your own, you get to see Rod bringing his skills to the table and bringing that character to life. So,
so it's a full body image.
Full body pencil and ink.
Oh,
yeah, full body pencil and ink.
Wow, that's
so. I'm pretty sure before it's said and done, some folks will grab that one because he's an amazing talent. And just I absolutely love his work.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Eric says, I also backed that cover of Magna lifting the tank, but I had to get the one with the Pantheon of gods looking down on her. But knowing myself, I will end up getting all 3 down the line.
Eric, I don't blame you because, I was so happy with the way those 3 covers came out. And I just felt like after each cover was made, I'm like, man, where do you go from here? How do you provide a cover that's just as stunning? The thing that I like is all 3 covers are very different. So they're very stunning, but they're very different. So it's almost kind of hard to compare them. They're just kind of cool in their own right.
True. Let's see here. Oops. Oh, Ron Looper shared or retweeted the
super one. Stream. The super one. It was actually, we were on a stream and it was Billy Tucci that dubbed him Super Looper. So I figured that's legit. If Billy Tucci will call you that, then you could be. There he is. That's my man. There he is. There's the super one right there. Rod Looper.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
People, do yourselves a favor. His 2D art is, I believe, his YouTube tag, and you can see, man, he does like great live streams, and he also does some kind of those time capture of his artwork. I mean, do yourself a favor and make sure that you're following Rod. And you can also follow him, Rod Looper. You can follow him on YouTube as well. And I think his Twitter may be Rod dot or dash Looper, but you'll know because his artwork is there. It is, Rod Looper right there, and it's an absolute treat seeing this man work.
Oh my gosh! Damn, big too.
So,
whoo-wee.
Yeah. So I think that's yeah.
Wait. Thanks for being here, but this is not my channel anymore.
Okay, so if you want to see it, so go to 2D Art channel.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah, 2D Art.
Personalize. So it's 2D ART.
Exactly.
2D ART. I wonder if I'm supposed to write the word channel too.
Let me look in there. Let me see if Rod's going to give us some direction. Yeah, I think you got to write channel. Well, since he said 2D Art channel, I don't know if you have to write channel or not.
Well, that's what I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so either. Is that it? Nope.
I don't think so.
Where are you at, my man?
Yeah, where are you on YouTube? Hold on, let me see. Let me check Twitter. 2D Art.
He said put Black Tiger Rod Looper.
Okay.
Type in Black Tiger Rod Looper and you'll find it. Now his artwork is absolutely stunning. Rod Looper. There you go.
Oh, 2D Art.
There we go.
Oh, there's a space. Okay.
Oh, okay.
There's a space between D and A.
Okay.
Cyberpunk Girl, Digital Inks. All right. Looks like we found
That's the one.
All right. So let me drop this in the chat.
Yeah.
2D Arts YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Just some great artwork in there.
Excuse me. Let's see. 2D Art says, that's the man. Oh, will there be a hardcover version of this book?
So this is what my thought is, Eric. My thought is it's going to be 2 volumes. It's 75 and 75. So I was thinking of just doing soft covers for the 2 volumes and then with the second volume, maybe providing a hardcover option for those that would like it of both. So
Both
you get,
combined.
yeah. So you get
$150.
150. So you get 150 pages. So kind of like Black Tiger, you have like the full volume and hardcover. I was thinking about doing the same thing for Magna.
Yeah, I think that would be a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that the hardcover was, substantial. Yep, like the booty.
Yep. Hey, I'm here. Hey, 2D.
That's right. Rod is the man.
2D.
I mean, his work on Black Tiger, golly. And the thing is, this is the crazy thing. The production for the next Black Tiger book is already done. Hidden Dragon. He's working on the remainder of the series. But the first volume of Black Tiger Hidden Dragon, which is the next volume, is ready to go. So when we're going to start fulfilling on this book, and then in the first quarter next year, we're going to have a campaign for the next Black Tiger graphic novel.
My goodness.
Yeah.
You guys are kicking ass. Jeez. 2D Art is here drawing new Black Tiger Hidden Dragon pages.
That's right.
Oh, his Twitter is @Rod_Looper.
Yeah. Make sure you guys follow him if you haven't. @Rod_Looper.
All right, I found him there.
Okay, good.
And get notifications. All right, so I've got him now. All right, cool.
Very cool.
My new channel is 2D.
Yep, we got it. So we got it's 2D space art. So we got it.
2D art, Rod Looper. Or 2D art channel. Weird. Put their black. All right.
Yes, we got all that. We're good.
Yeah. El Gargoyle says, Hex, I will gladly sim to you, big ass blue haired on that BBC. Oh, that's, yeah. I think he said later, wrong stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
Found it.
Found it? Okay, cool.
Oh, I need to fix it to be easy to find.
All good, El Gargoyle. All good.
Yes, that one. All right. Nice. I like that. Yeah, I think your plan of action is a sound one. I think it makes sense to do it that way too.
Yeah, just want to try and get some kind of periodicity to getting the books out and getting books into people's hands. And then hopefully that'll enable us to build the runway where we can just keep doing that.
Yeah.
You know, and then you know that on a quarterly basis or so, you're going to be getting something good.
Yes, indeed. Hello, Gargoyle. John, you have a solid team around you. Yeah.
Man, I'm so blessed. I'm so fortunate. Man, thanks. Appreciate that, Rod. I'll tell you though, working with people like Rod and Marcio, it really elevates your game, you know, and part of the fun is, you know, we're all very frank and very honest with each other. So, you know, it's healthy. You know, you need that pushback, you know, in order to, you know, because when we provide something, it's something that we all feel good about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you have that, you're like, okay, now we know we've got something good.
John is one of the best writers and businessmen, besides my best friend.
Yeah, Rod's amazing.
We have been working together for more than 17 years.
Sir. Yes, sir. I mean, when we started working together, the industry was totally different. You know, that's when we were publishing through Diamond, and you want to just talk about a completely different world. But Rod and I, you know, we love working together. So, you know, you were kind of asking about how can we have such a volume of work ready already? It's because we just, over the years, we've just kept the machine going and just trusting. I didn't know it was going to be like this, but trusting we were going to have a way to be able to deliver it and deliver it in a way that made sense. And quite honestly, Diamond no longer made sense. So we knew we weren't going to do that. So we just didn't know what we were going to do. And now, you know, with this amazing community and with, you know, it really is. It's the community, and it's just having this. I mean, the Indiegogo is just a tool, but it's really about the community, you know, that's enabling this to happen.
Now, doesn't Diamond also take like a 40% cut?
Yeah, man. They take 40%. It's like 42 actually. There was some other little nicks and knacks that they take money for.
Oh, dear.
You know, so they take 42% off the top.
Oh man.
And then you don't know where your books are going. You don't know what shops your books are going to. I mean, I get it, you know, but I'm like, okay, of course we don't know who the end users are, but I should know what shops are picking up my book.
Yeah.
You know, and that was infuriating, because then you have no market intelligence. You have no information.
Yeah. And you don't know whether your finished product is connecting with people.
You have no clue.
You have no type of feedback mechanism.
But I understand why they did that now, because it ended up, and I was talking, Professor Murph and I were talking about that on a stream, that there were shops that wanted reorders, but the reorders weren't of the volume that Diamond wanted to deal with.
Yes.
So they just disallowed the reorders. They let the reorders expire. So the shops put in reorders, but the reorders were never forwarded to us to fulfill. So basically the reorder just expired. So it's doubly bad. It looks like my company didn't fulfill on the reorders.
Right.
Because they didn't make it known to the shops that like, yeah, we're not gonna, yeah, go ahead. Fill out your reorder form. Book's not coming.
That is so sad. How many missed opportunities there were.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these indie comics could have exploded if Diamond were more vested in, helping everyone succeed.
I agree completely. But that just wasn't their charge. That's not what they were there for.
42%. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
2D art, little by little, keep walking and keep producing the book until we have everything right. John has this vision and an amazing focus in his goal. Yeah.
Appreciate that. But this is what's made it all possible. This community is what's made all this possible. Because before that there was no means. There's no means to to have direct contact with your audience, and which I like, because it gives me direct accountability to my audience.
Mm-hmm.
I have accountability to Eric. I have accountability to you. I have accountability to folks. And that's something that, even before I would have liked to have had it, but I didn't even know where my books were. I didn't know who had the books.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, such a cool campaign.
Appreciate
this
it.
is definitely a book to back for sure. Let's see here. Let's check out this campaign again, and then I think we'll wrap it up. Let's watch this again.
Very cool.
Welcome to Tree City, Idaho. The year is 1942. Spring is in the air, but times are tense as the world finds itself at war. While high school senior Kari Skogsholm finds her provincial life unfulfilling, her parents are eager to keep their lives and, most importantly, their extraordinary daughter under the radar as long as they can. But time is not on their side. They prepare to flee to protect Kari, but something within her compels her to stay and take a stand. It's time to learn truths that have been kept from her, be it out of love or fear or something else. It's time to answer the calling upon her life, whatever that may be. So her journey begins, and things would never be the same. But Kari's story finds its roots millennia prior. The men of renown, known as the sons of God, and the daughters of men in the first and second heavens, joined with raised arms one last time, combining all the power that they had to command. In the heavens, above the world, the last stand of these mighty men was also the last appearance of the agents of destruction, until their reemergence in 1942. Kari must learn the truth about herself, determine the end game of these supernatural agents of destruction, and how to stop them before all is lost.
Yes, sir.
What is the significance of the year 1942?
It's in terms of for a historical perspective, it was an era that I wanted to play in. And the thing is, the subsequent volumes, you'll see a lot more of kind of why I wanted the story to be in 1942. Without giving up too much, this is in the same universe as Black Tiger.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike the mantle of like the Batman, different people have been Batman, but ultimately Bruce Wayne is Batman, and that's really it. Bruce Wayne is the Batman.
Yep.
But Black Tiger is a mantle that's held throughout time by different individuals. And kind of for those of you that picked up the Black Tiger book, you got to see 4 different Black Tigers in that book. Kind of, so it's like there's continuity, but So at this time in 1942, there is a black tiger, not the black tiger in the book that you guys read, but there's a black tiger. So there is continuity, and then you have a character like a Magna, who has you learn more about her, and then you kind of realize that she has a little bit more longevity than some of these other characters, so that you can, she is kind of like a through string. You can kind of see her, across time, in the universe. So these are things that'll get revealed, over time. But there is kind of a bigger picture, and enabling folks to also have fun seeing some of these characters interact with each other.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see here. Hey, Eric, thanks for subscribing to my channel. Right on.
That's awesome.
Eric says, I like that biblical reference to the Nephilim.
Yeah, there's, and that's part of the fun of it. Yeah, I definitely took some, stuff from myth, but I took a lot kind of from Genesis 6, and it's not canon, but I took stuff from the Book of Enoch, and I took some license with that material. But because what I was really seeking to do was find a way, to tell a story. Because at the end of the day, in any world, you kind of have to know, know your own mythology, theology. You got to know it, kind of what grounds your world, and trying to be able to basically put all these elements together in the same world and in a way that makes sense. And I think we've been able to accomplish it.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. Let's see. Yotam Darkstar says, "Lol, Illuminati book looks awesome. Sure to back it once I decide which perk to choose."
Appreciate that, Yotam. Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff to play with in this story.
Let's see. So, oh wow, too bad.
Oh wow, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. That's huge.
Yeah,
really appreciate that.
448% fulfilled, funded. 2240 now.
Yeah,
with 2 more backers today.
You know what? I always keep my eye on the backers, because at the end of the day, sometimes folks are able to back at a big level. Or what's up, Hex Alley? What's up, Mel? You hear my voice. But it really comes down to being able to reach people, being able to inspire people with the story, and then hopefully people being willing to come back. So really the number that I have my eye on are the backers. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that a good chunk of the people from Black Tiger will migrate to this book as well, and that we'll pick up some new folks, and that we can just start to continue to build some ground. Yeah. Because the reality of the matter is, if I'm starting from scratch every time from every book, then I'm not doing something right. That means that people that are getting other books aren't hopping on board. But I think we had the benefit of people enjoying Black Tiger, and as a result, we were able to get out the gate pretty quickly on the first day. So just want to continue to build that, and just to continue to build the awareness, because there's so many things pulling at all of our attention. Just reminding folks, I wanted to get a copy of that. Just reminding folks that it's here.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. One of the big benefits to having such a low flex goal and to get fully funded early on is you get all this added promotion from Indiegogo. Its algorithm says something like, "Oh, you're fully funded? Great. Let's put you on the within the first 1 or 2 pages and just keep promoting you." Because supposedly the bulk of Indiegogo campaigns get most of their funding from, the first few pages of the, you should also check out these books. Okay. At the bottom. So that's pretty impressive. Let's see here. So Eric wanted to know, what is the projected time for fulfillment of Magna, the Last Pantheon?
March of 2021. Because the book is fully produced. So now it's simply a matter of printing and, then getting the books out. So once the campaign closes, then we'll make a decision about how many books we're going to print, and how much overage we'll print.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that's done, kind of like Black Tiger, that campaign is done. We'll do the same with this. We'll get out the books to everybody that's backed. And then as long as we still have books in stock, we'll keep it in demand. And then kind of like with Black Tiger, then once all the books are gone, then that's all she wrote for that campaign.
Something you may want to think about if you haven't already, but you probably already have, is when it comes to calculating how much to overprint, when you release Magna Volume 2, there are probably going to be people who missed Volume 1 and are interested in getting Volume 1 along with Volume 2. So, either as the original paperback, or a reprint of the original paperback, unless you just do an extra long run of Volume 1,
as
well as the combined works of Volumes 1 and 2 in the hardcover. But when you do the Volume 2 campaign, when it comes time to do that, it probably would behoove you to have enough overprint to cover that campaign as well. But it depends on, your finances, how it works out, what you decide and all that stuff. But it's just something to think about.
No, I appreciate that. That is a good thing to think about.
Let's see here. Let's see. Hex says, in order to remedy that, I was just on the panel on Bancroft stream and claimed to be you.
What remedy? What? I got to see what he said. Oh,
well, the last thing he said had to do with you being tired. Oh, maybe.
Oh, appreciate that.
Maybe because he was representing you like it being a clone.
There you go. Well, I hope you did a good job being me, Mel. Thank you.
That's the kind of commitment that John has with his projects and fans. The man worked the whole day, took care of 3 kids and wife, and is here talking a little bit of his passion for comics. I love this brother.
I appreciate you, Rod. Like for all of us that are here, this is a labor of love.
Mm-hmm. I think Eric says, I think I might like this book more than Black Tiger. I like mythology and the different interpretations a writer can take. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? This is gonna be a very fun book. So I can't. I hate to compare my children. I love them both.
Yeah.
My babies.
Hex
Thanks,
says,
Mel. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, thanks for dropping the links.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, so many CG books deal with mythology in some way, including mine.
Yeah.
Field Net Sword, the mobile game. Yep, indeed.
No, I'm looking forward to that, and he also has it's a mobile game, but he also has a comic book.
Yep.
That comes along with that. So, you'll be able to get the comic and then also get I guess kind of like a beta for the game, when the game is ready. And you'll get some awesome cards as well. So definitely hop on that. I hopped on that pretty early.
Yeah, it's a unique campaign for sure.
Yeah, I like it.
Different approach and everything. Yeah, so freaking cool. Thank you so much for backing this book. Be sure and back it as soon as you can before, it's no longer available.
And one quick thing I wanted to say also, Rod has been, he's got like some really beautiful art pieces that he has for sale. So, just check out what he's doing. You guys that back Black Tiger, he's amazing. So if there's some pieces there, you may want to get those for yourself, especially with it being the holiday season. You may want to treat yourself, or you may have somebody else you want to treat.
Mm-hmm. So these are pieces that he did on his own that are not necessarily specific to Magna.
Yeah, so these aren't Black Tiger or Magna pieces. He's done lots of other pieces as well. So it's definitely fun and definitely worth checking out.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. Indeed. All right. So let's go ahead and I'm going to give you the floor.
Awesome.
Please share with the world how you can be found on social media.
So you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Beyond Time Inc. That's also the handle for my my YouTube page, where you can go and see some of the content that we've created. See the Black Tiger 20-minute short film with Robin Shu and Angela Fong. So check that out. That's there for you to view. There's also a 10-minute animatic that my man Rod Super Looper did the majority of the artwork on. There's got to be there's over 1,000 cells, because even though it's a couple or a few cells a second, it's a 10-minute piece. So, it's an animatic, but it's well produced and some great voice acting. So go there and check it out. Have some fun. And if you haven't already, check out Magna. Would love for you to back. I'm sorry that Black Tiger is no longer available if you haven't backed it, but just stay close to us, because when we publish the next volume, we'll make sure that we make a way for you to be able to get that first volume in your hands as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, very cool.
So that's it, my people. Appreciate you guys. Best community in the world. I mean that. You're the one. All of you guys are the ones that are making this happen, and I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, and the opportunities for new creators, new up and coming creators, people who've always dreamt one day of making their own comic book, now literally have the opportunity right in front of them.
This is the time.
It's mind blowing, really.
Yeah, and I keep stealing what Robert Geronimo said, but this is the Renaissance. This is it. If you've had ideas and you've had content that you want to, this is the time to do it, and this is the community to do it in.
Yes. You don't want to lose this opportunity, because it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can find me on Facebook and YouTube under WyzGyz Entertainment. You can find me on Twitter under WyzGyz Tweets. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Mark the bell for notifications. Indicate you want all notifications. So hopefully, YouTube algorithm permitting,
oh boy,
you get notifications whenever I release a new video or stream. And excuse me, drop any comments down below this video and let us know what you're most excited about on this book, Magna, The Last Pantheon.
That's right.
Want to thank everyone in chat for joining us. You guys rock.
You guys are amazing. I love you guys. Have a great and blessed Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Eat a lot of turkey.
Yeah. And also, thank you to those who watch this on replay. Mm-hmm. And thank you to our very special guest, John Hervey.
Thank you, Wyman. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you.
Oh, yeah. You're pretty damn awesome. So we got to have you on again. So anytime you have new updates or things to share, definitely hit me up.
I'll definitely do that, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
We are going to close out. Take it easy, all. There are a bunch of streams still going, so check them out. And Madanui says, "Oh, it's over." Man, I was distracted today. It's all right. You can always watch it on replay.
That's right. That's the beauty.
Yep. All right. So let's take it out. 3, 2, 1.
Guest that is the only person below Wyatt Holiday in the ComicsGate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube WyzGyz. How you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Awesome. Appreciate
Yep.
it.